Happy Christmas, everyone. The weather outside is still frigid, and I'm recording this message to you from my cozy living room, hoping that you too are also safe and warm. Did you have to change your plans this week because of the weather? Maybe there was a flight canceled or holiday guests couldn't arrive on time. It makes a difference whether you're a go-with-the-flow personality, one who can easily shift gears as situations change, or you can also be one of those persons who's more inclined to fret and worry, eager to bring the world back into a semblance of order. Regardless of what kind of personality you are, I hope you found your way. Whether you needed a beloved ritual to ground you in this time, or even a novelty to hold your attention. After all, as John Lennon sang so bittersweetly, life is what happens to you while you're busy making other plans. I've been thinking that perhaps it's fitting this Christmas that our in-person worship is canceled. After all, we've been traveling through Advent this year, intentionally listening to ancient stories of others whose carefully laid out plans were turned upside down, either by human choices or divine intervention. From the tangled genealogies of Matthew's gospel, and within those generations, the revelations of human brokenness and possibilities of redemption, to the series of interruptions brought about by the angel Gabriel. Each week in Advent, we found that the holy was breaking into ordinary lives with heavenly determination, flinging open the doors, upending tables, and extending unexpected invitations. The Scottish minister and poet George MacDonald, reflecting on Christmas, once wrote, "They all were looking for a king to slay their foes and lift them high. Thou camest, a little baby thing that made a woman cry." My Christmas message to you this year was going to be focused on storytelling, of the stories and the rituals passed down from generation to generation. You may have a treasured holiday recipe or a family Christmas cookie. Maybe there's a tradition of Christmas carols or a favorite holiday film watched over and over again each year. Or memories of families bundled up and attending late night Christmas Eve services together, with silent nights sung by candlelight. But that was before the weather interrupted us. Our plans may have altered, but what can an upended Christmas bring to us? How are you remembering the Christmas story this day, wherever you find yourself? Although we aren't gathering by candlelight to listen to the nativity stories in Luke's gospel together, I invite you to take a moment wherever you are, with whomever you may be with, to read that story together, slowly, intentionally, opening up space to hear those words in a new way. Read them from your own Bible, or maybe your Nana's family Bible, or even from an online source. Pay attention to what captures you, what words or phrases shimmer for you as you listen to the story. That familiar story that begins, "In those days a decree went out from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be registered. And this was the first registration was taken while Quirinius was governor of Syria. And all went to their own towns to be registered. Joseph also went from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea, to the city of David called Bethlehem, because he was descended from the house and the family of David." As you read, take turns. How does the story sound different when spoken by a young voice or by an older one? What do you notice? If where you are this Christmas includes a gathering of children, you might consider a participatory retelling of the Christmas story. An impromptu nativity play with young and old playing the parts of characters in the story. You know, with bathrobes and towels and stuffed animals and gift bags. What might make a good manger in your home? And how long has it been since you played the part of a shepherd? Or a magi from the east? Or Mary? Tell stories you remember of old Christmas pageants from long ago, and remember together as you tell. Will there be singing where you are? Carols and candlelight? Talk about what your favorite carol is to sing, and then sing it. Whether you're by yourself or with others, just sing that carol out loud. Or maybe even jump on a Zoom call to sing with family far away. On Christmas Eve, I often take a moment to read a few of my favorite poems and other writings with Christmas themes. Thomas Hardy, The Oxen, is a favorite. I'll listen to Lessons and Carols from King's College. On Christmas morning, you may find me listening to Neil Gaiman read Dickens's A Christmas Carol as I make breakfast. Most Christmas Eves, though, I will return again and again to a letter written by a son to his parents. The writer was Dietrich Bonhoeffer, and on December 17th, 1943, from his cell at the Flossenburg concentration camp, he wrote a profound reflection on Christmas. And I'll offer you an excerpt of his words this Christmas. He wrote, "Dear parents, of course you can't help thinking of my being in prison over Christmas, and it is bound to throw a shadow over the few hours of happiness which still await you in these times. All I can do to help is to assure you that I know you will keep it in the same spirit as I do. For we are agreed on how Christmas ought to be kept. How could be otherwise when my attitude to Christmas is a heritage I owe to you? For years you have given us such lovely Christmases that our grateful memories are strong enough to cast their rays over a darker one. For a Christian, there is nothing peculiarly difficult about Christmas in a prison cell. I dare say it will have more meaning and will be observed with greater sincerity here in this prison than in places where all that survive of the feast is the name. That misery, suffering, poverty, loneliness, helplessness, and guilt look very different to the eyes of God from what they do to humans. That God should come down to the very place which we usually abhor. That Christ was born in a stable because there was no room for him in the inn. These are things which a prisoner can understand better than anyone else. For the prisoner, the Christmas story is glad tidings in a very real sense. And that faith gives the prisoner a part in the communion of saints, a fellowship transcending the bounds of time and space and reducing the months of confinement here to insignificance. On Christmas Eve, I shall be thinking of you all very much. And I want you to believe that I too shall have a few hours of real joy and that I am not allowing my troubles to get the better of me. It will certainly be a quiet Christmas for everybody, and the children will look back on it for long afterward. But for the first time, perhaps, many will learn the true meaning of Christmas. Your Dietrich. This Christmas, may we find the divine invitation awaiting us in any change of plans. For the Christmas child has been born. God with us, Emmanuel, has come near to us. May you find joy in this upended Christmas season, and may that joy be the fuel that transforms our world anew. Merry Christmas.